Hello and welcome to your T-spine tune-up. We are going to mobilize the thoracic spine. This is your mid to upper back area. It's T1 to T12, so it takes up a large portion of your spine, and this is an area that tends to get congested, sticky, and can use some attention. Most of us could benefit from this. You will want a wall, you will want a blanket or a cushion, and you'll want a foam roller or a ball. And if you don't have either of those tools, you could use a few blankets rolled up. You could also use a blanket over a yoga block. A foam roller or a massage ball will work best for this. So we're going to start with this first exercise using the foam roller or massage tool. You're going to place this on your upper back area, lying back on the tool. You can hold the back of your head for support. You'll lift your hips a little bit and just let yourself roll up and down, exploring this area. This is a way to bring awareness to the area we are influencing and also increase the blood flow. So we don't want this to be painful in any way. We don't want this to be rolling up to the cervical spine or even down into the lumbar region. We're sticking more or less in the space behind the shoulder area and the rib area, maybe just below that area, so the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. So just a few passes. You don't have to spend too much time here. And then after that bit of work, you can come off your roller and you can set that off to the side. And then we'll come onto our back. So as you make your way onto your back, roll to your left side and take your arms out more or less in line with your shoulders. Support your head with a blanket or a cushion, or just let it be free floating. Palms face one another. You're going to take your top hand, graze across your arm, across your chest, and open out to the side. So you've come into a spinal twist. Roll back to your side slowly. You can even reach your hand beyond the bottom palm. Just adds a little bit more shoulder protraction. And this area, the thoracic spine, is the bridge between the upper and lower body. So this is vital for our breath capacity, our lung capacity, the ease of our breath. It supports our ribs, supports our lungs, our heart. Now, if this feels good, you can stay with that for a few more rounds. You can also explore sweeping the top arm up and overhead like the arm of a clock. And as far as repetitions go, you can do anywhere between 5, 8, or 10 cycles. And you want to make sure you're not allowing for any sharp, painful sensation, and you're really honoring your boundaries, the edges of sensation. So nothing should hurt. And when you come back onto your side, we'll switch sides. So rolling over onto your other side, lying on your side, arms come out, and then we're going to peel open, landing in that spinal twist. And really let yourself feel into the movement. Where does it feel fluid? Where does it feel stuck? And you can stay with the peeling open. I call that the bow and arrow, or you can take the arm around like the arm of a clock. And it's important to, while we're focusing on this portion of the spine, we're still considering the spine as a whole unit. We want to move the spine in all its ranges of motion, and that's flexion or rounding, and that's and extension or back bending. There's lateral flexion, which is a side bend, and then there's rotation or twisting. Let's take one more. Peel it open or sweep the arm around like the arm of a clock. And then we'll come up to a kneeling or a seated position. So I'm going to do this from my knees, but you can do this sitting in a chair as well. Cross your arms in front of you, and we're going to circle the thoracic spine around in a circle. You'll start by tucking your chin in towards your chest, turn your ribs to the left, and then side bend towards the left. Move towards a back bend, almost like you're coiling over the back of a chair. So you land in a side bend on the other side and then come forward into that flexed position. So we start by going to the other side. We twist, we side bend, we back bend, around, side bend, and forward bend. So moving in that pattern. And we're staying out of the lower back, meaning when I'm back bending, I'm just trying to keep this to the mid to upper back. So the hips are staying relatively quiet here. Low back is staying relatively quiet. And if you're feeling this a lot in your low back, and if it's uncomfortable in your lower back, I would try sitting in a chair. And that way your hips can be stabilized and you'll be able to stay out of the low back with a little bit more ease. And after your final rotation, you can release and shake that out. Come onto hands and knees. Support your hands in whatever way feels best for you. Take your right hand behind your head, supporting the back of your head. You're going to turn your ribs open to the right and take your elbow towards your left arm. Now, if your hand in this position on the ground doesn't feel good, you can use your fist. You could also use your forearm. You could also prop yourself up on a chair. So really feeling the rotation of your thoracic spine. Inhale to open and exhale to draw that arm down. We'll switch sides. So anywhere between 5 or 8 repetitions, moving slowly, we're not in a rush. And a little goes a long way in these exercises. These are really good to do, kind of broken up throughout the course of your day, especially if you spend a lot of time in a flexed position, sitting at a desk, sitting in a car. One more. And we'll release. Our final exercise will require a blanket and a wall. So find some cushion for your knee and set up near a wall. And how we'll do this is we're going to bend or come into a lunge, and you'll bend your, I've got my right leg bent, foot is on the ground. My right foot's on the ground, my left knee is on the blanket. And I'm going to take my hands together and then press the back of my right hand against the wall. And then from here, I'm going to reach the arm up And then the palm will turn around when it reaches up overhead and then opening out to the side. So my outer hip is stabilized against the wall here. So reaching up. So this is similar to the clock movement that we did on the back. And just letting yourself feel into the movement here. And now if you'd like, you could take your hands behind your head. This is another way to something that's going to require a little bit more range of motion, but now your hands can come behind your head, and then you're going to lift and draw your elbow up and back. So much more opportunity for mobility in the thoracic spine. You see how the elbow is drawing a line, and I can really play with the flexion and lateral flexion here. All right, and then switch sides. That's my favorite one. So taking your kneeling leg, with the foot on the ground, that is going to go against the wall. And I'm going to scoot back just a touch so I'm not against the door. And you're going to start with your hands out in front, and then the bottom arm is going to reach up and then turn around and come forward just a little bit. And there's no requirement here to get body parts against the wall. This is more your own assessment. How are you able to move freely? What feels smooth in your movement? How are you able to rotate your upper arm? Feeling the outer hip pushing into the wall for stability. Now you can play with the version of taking your hands behind your head and then drawing a line with your elbow down and open. All in all, this should be fun, enjoyable, pleasant, because when you are complete, even just in playing with just a few of these exercises, hopefully you are able to breathe with a little bit more ease, and hopefully you just feel overall tuned up in this thoracic area.